my initial feeling, going years back, is I really don't like the collaboration of poets and music that I've heard over the years. Right. And I found it incredibly, that there's something about it that just, it's nice, but it doesn't really work for me, or that it's either cliched or something about it. And that the last thing I'd want to do is spend this much time of my life doing that and running around boring people to death with poetry and music, and them not being able to concentrate on either one. And you might as well just let them read a poem when they're in their room, when they're ready, and go turn on an album and dance or whatever. And why bother them with all that production and complication? Though somewhere in my mind, I always thought, it ought to be possible. I don't know how, I don't know why I even thought that way, but I thought, there are two good things together. I mean, they're close, they're related.
Did you ever read that essay that I wrote for that Ann Charter's anthology?
Yes. You're posting it on the blog.
No, but I'm just saying that was early, and I was, but it reflected, a lot of discomfort with the form, except for certain people like Baraka and Jane Cortez and stuff coming out of the African American vocalic tradition that you, like in the preaching techniques, for instance, you can't separate it from music and so forth, where so many of the attempts that people like Rex Roth, Ferlinghetti, and so forth. I mean, they basically, as I said there, they were just using music as a kind of wallpaper. The music wasn't necessarily integrated with what they were saying, and they were basically just reciting text over a musical background. Whereas the other folks I mentioned, they were really integrating it all, and they were all improvising, and and so on. So. So this has become this is a real revelation again. After doing this as a young kid, in the 50s in the cellar, then I just it was over. I mean, we stopped, the fad passed, and I just went back to the page. So this is good. We're taking poetry into the air and off the page, but we're also, like, I suppose with this whole thing of singing, troubadour, so on.
And this idea I feel about, I know you had this reluctance that we'd have too many musicians and so forth, and I definitely understand it. And
having way too many.
And people who don't know how to find the space, and that's what I was trying to say, is that if they're great, then they have to be able to find the space and allow for us to be in there as an instrument as well. And if they could do that, then it should be able to work. And so that's the leap of faith I have, because I really hadn't felt like I'd seen a ton of proof of it from what I've heard in recorded poetry.
I got to add like a PS to the thing about the Charters anthology. I wasn't satisfied with that piece either. It's been this whole thing about the poetry and jazz, and then the subtext too of that, or like another department, is the idea of what they call jazz singing. I've always had that's another one. How do you really define that? What does that mean? What does poetry and jazz or poetry and music mean? Are they one, or are they separate together? All of these problems. So I think, just.
And this is part of the discussion we've had since we met.
Well, yeah, but just part of our own intuitive, this because of the experience we had just recently.
Yes.
Suddenly, were something.
It makes you hopeful.
Something happened.
Yes.
Something happened, and it transformed not only us but the musicians we were working with, and certainly the audience. You know, that was there, because no matter what anyone expects, we did not do that.
Right.
You know, it wasn't the expected whatsoever. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's. Did I make the right turn?
I don't know, honey. Where's the sign? I see it up there.
In this
Straight
way?
ahead.
Oh, it's up there.
Looks like it.
Okay.